everybody, I'm Cy from Happy Accident Studios, and this is episode 2 of Hougie Nights, where we get all crazy and hoogie until the sun comes up. So, in our last episode, we made this easel card that pops up like that, and is very awesome, and is also very simple. If you haven't seen it yet, why don't you click over to it now? Have a look and then join us. We'll wait. For those of you who have already seen it and are totally in the know, for part 2 today we are going to be making this lovely party favor house. Now this is just a simple box, and I will show you exactly how we put that together. This is going to be good for small candies or a tiny cake or something like that, for not so much for kids parties, but I would say for a baby shower, for example, which is why I'm making them. My friend is having a baby shower and she needs 24 of these, so I thought I would take some time out and show you exactly what I'm doing. Let's get started. First of all, you need a piece of plain card. You can use patterned if you like, it totally doesn't matter. But you need to have some fairly strong cardstock. I'm using a basil, and it measures 8.5 inches wide and 7.5 inches long. Now you need to put the 8.5 inch section across the top of your hoogie board. And we are going to score at 2, 4, 6, and 8. And so you don't forget it, we say the rhyme. 2, 4, 6, 8. Hoogie board is really great. I'm such a sad person. But that's what we do, because we're crazy. Right? So, 2, 4, 6, 8. Hoogie board is really great. Then we flip it over and we score at 2, 4, and 7. Then you'll be in hoogie heaven. Oh, I'm really sad. I'm so sorry. But you know what? I'm not sorry. I'm just crazy. Okay, so what we have here is we've got a lovely grid. Our grid is a bit funny. It's got 1/2 inch up and down here on 2 sides. It's got 2 rows of 2-inch squares on it, and it's also got 1 row of 3 by 2 rectangles. Now the first thing we're going to have to do is flip this over. Why, do you ask? Why do we have to flip it over? I will tell you, it is because I've learned through making these so many times that it really does help to have a couple of extra scores going in the other direction. Pardon me a moment while I pick up my scoring device. And I'm back with the scoring device. Right, so have a look at this. We are going to score these 2 by 3 rectangles. Now the way I've done this is I have taken it the original way that I had it when I did the 2, 4, 6, 8, and then I have flipped it vertically so that it still has 2, 4, 6, 8 scored. Now these scores are poking up and you'll be able to feel the little ridges. And that is because if you score it that way, it will fold that way, and if you score it the other way, it'll fold the other way. Now, you can fold it in both directions if you wish, and that gives extra mobility to your creases. That's called the Hougie trick, and you'll learn a lot of that if you go to the Hougie website, which is www.hoogiecrafts.co.uk, or you can just leave the www off. It doesn't matter, you'll get there. So, what we need to do now is we need to score again, and I would say probably about halfway down at 1 and 5. Terribly sorry. Forget this one in the middle here. You'll see when we finish. You'll see exactly why. But, so what we do, 2, 4, 6, 8. Then we do 2, 4, 7. Put it back to normal. Flip it round. Score at 1 and 5. Okay, have we got that? Are you confused? let's press on. The next thing we need to do is to make the aperture in the box. Now, this first layer of 2x2 squares is going to make the bottom of the box. They're all going to fold under and make the bottom of the box. We want the aperture to be in the side of the box. So we're going to take this side, the one that has the little margin, and then the next one here. That's the one we're going to punch a hole in. And I'm using a 1 3/4 scalloped circle die. Sorry, not a die, a punch. I'm using a scalloped circle punch from Stampin' Up! And you just gotta eyeball this the best you can. Make sure you don't get any fold lines in your vision here. And then you just press it out and hope for the best. That looks fine. It seems to have gone quite nicely there. That's gonna be our window. The next thing we need to do, if you didn't already do your Hougie trick, which you can do, is we're going to pre-fold all of our scored lines. So, here we go. I may speed this up a little bit.
Because folding is boring. Folding. Still folding. I'm still folding, are you? I'm still folding. I'm still folding the paper. Oh yeah, folding it good. I love folding not.
Okay, we're done folding. Right. Next thing we do is we cut. It's scissor time. Right, let's cut on the bottom line again. Now, this is our bottom, and it's not going to fold up if it's like this. So we need to separate it into its individual squares. So what you do is you cut up towards the first line that you see. So don't encroach on the sides of the box at all. Just cut the bottom. And then this little piece here, we can just get rid of. Snip. Snippity snip. Snippity snip. So we have our little fringe of little bottom panels now. But that's not the first bit we're going to do. Oh no. First thing we're going to do is fold the little margin that we did not cut off. And don't worry, it looks like it's covering our aperture, but don't worry about that because it's going to stick out like that, stuck to the other side in a minute. Now get the liquid glue of your choice, or you could use the extra sticky red back tape if you really want to, but that's a lot of tape for what I'm onto. I've got to do 24 of these things. So, line of glue. I'd like to use this glue. This is the original high-tack, all-purpose, very sticky glue. I think in some places they refer to it as Aleene's glue. I'm not sure, but the company's called Impex, I-M-P-E-X, and I'm sure you can find it in all good craft shops. I'm going to get rid of this sticky glue finger. And I'm back. Right, now that the glue is sort of thinned down a bit, because less is more in the world of glue, we are going to stick that down very nicely. And if you haven't used too much glue, it should just be able to stick on the first press. And what that'll do is that will press out like this, and eventually you will have your square. Ooh, like that. The next thing we need to do is fold down our bottom bits. It sounds nasty, but bottom bits it is. So, I tend to just get messy with this and be very kind of light and iffy about it. A bit of glue there. And you can use your fingers through this hole that you've done, see? It's all designed very nicely. And then a little bit more glue and press again. And on the last one you should probably be a bit nicer. Very, very careful with the glue there. and flap down that last one there. And you can press it through the hole. Now if you don't want your sweeties to escape and you're not going to bag them up, what I highly recommend you do, especially if they're individually wrapped, is to just put a piece of acetate over that before you start to assemble the 3D shape while it's still flat. Pop some acetate behind this so that you have a clear window instead of this actual hole. It's going to make it a little harder for you to fold up the bottom pieces, but if you end up doing it that way, my advice to you is to get something, a pencil or pen or something like that, or a bit of scissors, and just pop it down inside and use it to press down all of your layers of glue so that it all sticks nicely. But we're lucky and we didn't do it that way. So what we've got now is a solid bottom and our walls. Now it's time to make the roof. Remember those extra score lines I told you to do? The ones at 1 and at 5. They are going to help fold this all in. Do you see that? These bits fold in, and then you've got a small margin of 1/2 inch at the top. Now this can be closed in one of two ways, and I'm going to do the prettier way because my friend who's having the baby shower needs to fill these with things that she's made herself. So I can't close them for her, or else I would be using a stapler at this point because it's taking such a long time. Right, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my crocodile, which is this lovely thing. Have you seen this? It is, but you can use an ordinary paper punch for this, but this crocodile is a big multi-purpose thing that I happen to have and have taken chunks out of my hand with. What you want to do is make sure it's going to go through all of the different layers. Oops. All the different layers. And squeeze it. See that? It's left a lovely little hole there. And we're going to do the same with the other side. Now here's the point where you can be fancy. Now this is a cute little house on its own, but I think having a contrasting roof is a good idea. So what you want to do is cut another strip of card to 7 inches by just a hair over 2 inches. I like to use 2 1/8. So let's use 2 1/8. There we go. That's 2 1/8 and 7. I'll do 7 and a bit as well because we like that. 7 and a bit. Okay. This is our roof piece. We just fold this exactly in half. No scoring happening here. We're just going to fold this in half like that. Simple, right? And then we squeeze that together. And if you want, and if your brain is actually working unlike mine, you'll want to wait till this point to do the punching, because now I'm going to have to do it again. And I'm going to have to make it all line up, which is crazy and not likely, but here we go. So we've got our little roof and we've got 2 holes. Now those holes are great for ribbon, so let's get some ribbon and tie that up. In the grand tradition of flying by the seat of my pants, I have right next to me some string, so change of plan, we're going to use some string. So thread it through the holes, like so. Whoops, shouldn't be that difficult. There we go. Right, and it's okay if it pops open at this stage because you need to have all your concentration on tying a proper bow. Proper bow. Sorry, it's a thing. It's a comedy thing. Have you heard of proper bowl? Proper bowl. Anyway, it's not a proper bowl anyway. But imagine this in gorgeous ribbon, and that's what you can have with the pretty little house that you just made and filled with sweeties to give to your lovely guests at your lovely party. Nair, if you're watching this, you're getting ribbon. Don't worry about a thing. You're getting ribbon because we're fancy like that. So, we come to the end of episode 2 of Hougie Nights. Join me next time for another project where we'll hoogie the night away. I have been Sai. This has been Happy Accident Studios Hougie Nights Part 2. If you would like to, please subscribe. You can hit the button at the bottom of the screen that you're hopefully watching right now. You can also find me on Twitter, Vine, Instagram, or Pinterest at Hapax Studios. My channel is youtube.com/Hapax Studios. Can you see the pattern here? And also, my website is www.happyaccidentstudios.co.uk, and you can find me on Facebook at Happy Accident Studios. Just look for the pink handprint. If you're in the Medway, Kent area of England and you would like to personally attend one of my beginners card making classes, please feel free to contact me by email, Sai@Happy Accident Studios, or go to the Vintage Dove in the Raynham Shopping Centre and check it out for yourself. Thank you very much, and I hope you join me again next time. Bye-bye!